just one three-pointer. I mean, you out-rebound them by 18.
Yeah.
I mean, you did a lot of things right. I mean, is it the turnovers? Is that what killed you guys?
Yeah, that hurt us. Hurt us early in the game. I thought we did a lot of good things, and we talked a lot about progress and addressing things and doing the right things, and then the outcomes take care of themselves. Unfortunately, we had some early turnovers. We had some guys in foul trouble, and then there's a reason Russell Westbrook and James Harden are who they are, and why that team is so dangerous. If one guy has a night where he's not reaching his average, you have another guy who can pick up the scoring load. So I liked a lot of things tonight. The effort, obviously, did not like the outcome.
What were you trying to do with Russ, and what just made it so hard to keep him from scoring?
I mean, we were trying to get into him and basically either get under him, depending on where the screen was, or we were trying to force him to play in a crowd. The problem with that is when he starts getting downhill, when they start setting the screens high, we couldn't get back in front of him, and that gave us trouble. And we had so much attention on James, because he has hurt us in the past, that Russell, he definitely picked up the scoring load, and a lot of those were drive-aways too, and us not guarding the ball great, one-on-one.
It's challenging too. Some of his makes, he's taking them from the areas that usually you're like, that's exactly where we want guys to shoot from.
Mm-hmm.
He's just making them. How do you, go about that? Like, what do you do with that when a guy's just beating you from where you kind of want him to beat you?
I mean, you stay true to what we talk about and how we teach. In the end, you need better contests in those areas. But in the end, it's hard to win in this league, and it's nobody's going to give you a game. They don't care how many games you've lost or in a row or whatever it is. We got to make that happen. So I thought we did a number of good things tonight, but I thought that there were a few things that dug us a hole that ended up hurting us in the end.
Is that what you were looking for? And as far as getting out in transition and pushing the pace, especially in the first half, it seemed like
18 fast break points, and I still think we weren't playing fast enough. And I thought that the way we were getting some of the 18 fast break points were ways that we wanted, to get them.
You just talked about the job Okogie did defensively and offensively. Maybe one of his best games this year. Yeah,
I'm really proud of the way Josh played, and I know it can be tough. When you got a number of guys who are, guys that we really believe in, and we want to grow at that wing position. And Josh maybe didn't play a ton last game, but he stayed professional, stayed ready, and tonight was a game for him, and he answered the call. And then Jarrett, it'll be one of those things where one guy might play a heavier load one game, another guy will play a heavier load the other, or they'll play together, and they can pick each other up too. So I was happy with how Josh played.
Ryan, what is it about Josh that allows him to play Harden as well as he does?
I think he can keep the ball in front, and I think his the way he uses his chest, and he plays more vertical with his body as opposed to playing more where he basically has his hand. So a lot of guys can put their hands in the cookie jar, and James is so good at feeling whenever he feels any type of contact. Yeah, he's right through there. So Josh has good discipline in that sense.
Do you think that Cat came into this game determined not to let the refs get in his head, and also to play more disciplined on defense? And how well do you think he did those things?
Yeah, I did think he did that, and I thought I wish I had him out there for longer. That he didn't get into foul trouble early, but that's the NBA. Sometimes things don't go your way. So you got to adjust accordingly. But then getting him in, and the guy gets 30 and 12 in 27 minutes. I mean, there's a reason he's an all-star player.
Do you think that's part of the process, that when he plays hard defense, there's a tendency for him to be more foul prone, and where do you fall on that?
Yeah. Possibly. It's a good point, but I always wanted to play hard defensively. I'll find ways to adjust accordingly on, I'll dive into the numbers on when we should leave him in if he gets into foul trouble, if he's competing hard defensively every night.
Ryan, it just felt like from the jump tonight, the intensity was different. It felt like you had raised it a few notches. How do you sustain that moving forward? Because it just, like, it did feel different.
Yeah. I do think that being home helped us, and I like that we have some home games coming up here. These fans have seen some good Houston games too here, so I think they were ready to go, and they were really good tonight, especially in the fourth quarter when that second group made a run. But we gotta just make sure we sustain that same intensity, and that's what we just told the guys. Hey, this is a league where games come quick. If you fail, you got to fail quickly. We have a game tomorrow, and we get to get right back at it, and know that the things that hurt us, especially early in this game, they shouldn't hurt us. Tomorrow we need to address those, and that's the turnovers, that's taking care of the basketball, those types of things.
You used Keita as like a small ball 5 tonight. He's kind of been playing in Jake's role. I guess, like, when you think about a big picture for him, is it a spectrum of like 3 through 5, or is there a specific area you think that you want to be using Keita in?
I'd rather have him at a 4. And in this situation was a small ball 5. There's been times where I guess I go back to Oklahoma City because they're we're ready to move to them. Last year Oklahoma City played Jeremy Grant as a small ball 5 at times, and when there's situations like that, you might look to Keita. I thought tonight, it wasn't for anything that Gorgie did. It was just a matchup situation, and that's what we are as an organization. We want to make sure that we're educated on those things.
Ryan, just philosophically, do you have kind of a hard line in terms of if a player picks up 2 fouls in the first quarter, he's automatically comes out, or 3 fouls in the second quarter? Do you go by feel with that? How hard is it, I guess, when you want to keep a Towns or a Wiggins in the game, but foul trouble makes it tough on that?
Yeah, I mean it's tough because you never want to foul your own players out. But it's also you look at the the box score, and he ends up with 4 fouls. So, but sometimes, hey, if you leave him in there and you put him at risk. When emotions are high, he's not happy. He got his 3rd foul. Emotions are where they are. 6 minutes left. There might be a chance that he gets a 4th foul. Then you're trying to make a decision on the 3rd quarter. Then you're trying to make a decision because if he picks up a 5th, I mean, there's a lot of things that play into it. So a lot of it is based off feel, but we have analytics based on when probabilities are when guys would foul out too.
Westbrook scores 45 without taking a 3 tonight. You guys have your system, they have theirs, but is it kind of a case where when you get like a superstar like that, you just kind of let them play to their strengths?
Yeah, their system, they like 3s too, though.
Same.
So yeah,
he plays outside of it.
Yeah. I mean, when he has 45 points, I mean, he's earned the right to do that. I think. Former MVP. They've adapted to that. So he, and a lot of his looks were at the rim too. But there were, he's a guy who shoots a high percentage at that logo area, on the face-up. He's been doing that for years. When he backs smaller guys down, he can rise up and make that bank shot. So that's a good shot for him.
A lot of the 40-plus point performances against you guys this year seems like it has been that logo area where generally you guys want to be giving those shots. I mean, what's the balance when someone starts rolling there and you're like, is that still a good shot to be giving up?
Yeah. I mean, and I know you didn't mean it this way, but we generally don't want to give any shots. But if there's a shot that you say that you live with, it's more of that one. But he does that to a lot of teams. Some of these guys who have put up the 40-point games, they're guys who have played in the mid-range in that area, and they've really been they've mastered it almost. And so, in that situation, you might just keep drilling for better pursuit, better contests, but you're not going to trap somebody at the the logo area, because in most cases it would be a big, and then you're leaving a big open for offensive rebounds.